Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I knew this day was coming. You can only keep a secret buried for so long before it starts pushing its way back to the surface. Watching General Hospital lately, I couldn't shake the feeling that Willow's carefully built world was about to crack. Well, folks, that moment may finally be here, and if you ask me, this story is about to get a whole lot messier than anyone expected. The way I see it, Willow isn't just worried anymore, she's terrified. She knows Drew has finally figured out the truth. He knows she was the one who shot him in the back. He knows she helped trap him inside his own body, unable to move, unable to speak, unable to fight back. That's the kind of truth that can destroy a marriage, a reputation, and an entire future. Lord have mercy. If Drew gets back on his feet, Willow could lose absolutely everything. What really caught my attention is how desperate Willow has become. Instead of preparing herself for the consequences, she's still looking for a way to keep Drew quiet. I can almost understand the panic she's feeling, but there comes a point where every bad decision only digs the hole deeper. She believed Jack Brennan could hand her the blackmail evidence she needed to control Drew, and for a brief moment it probably felt like she still had one last lifeline. Then everything fell apart. That mysterious black box Brennan kept in his WSB office has disappeared, and with it went every piece of leverage Willow was counting on. Looking back, it almost feels inevitable. Ross Cullum took over Brennan's office while Brennan was recovering, and now the files are simply gone. To me, that's no coincidence. Somebody moved first, and Willow is the one paying the price. Meanwhile, Drew's recovery is picking up speed, and that's where this story gets really interesting. The drugs supplied by Jen Sidwell were the only thing keeping him trapped in that horrifying condition. Now that Sidwell is locked away and the medication has stopped, Drew's body is beginning to fight its way back. I don't know about you, but seeing Drew clench his fist and his leg begin to move in the preview gave me chills. Those weren't just tiny movements. They looked like the first warning signs that the man everyone thought was helpless is getting ready to stand again. If I'm reading this storyline correctly, Willow isn't running out of time, she's almost out of options. Every bit of progress Drew makes is another step closer to exposing her secrets. And once he can speak for himself, nobody will be able to silence him. That's why I can't help thinking Willow may be tempted to do something even more reckless to keep him in that wheelchair. Desperate people rarely make careful choices. And General Hospital has never been shy about showing just how dangerous fear can become when someone has everything to lose. I have to admit, I've been thinking about this storyline for days, and every time I replay it in my mind, I come back to the same conclusion. Willow isn't simply trying to protect a secret anymore. She's fighting for what she believes is her entire life, and that's exactly what makes her so dangerous right now. I've watched enough General Hospital over the years to know that when a character reaches this point, they usually stop asking themselves what's right and start asking only one question: how do I survive? That's why I can't look at Willow the same way I did a few months ago. At one time, I honestly believed she was someone who always tried to do the right thing, even when life treated her unfairly. Now I see someone who is trapped by her own decisions, and every lie she's told has become another brick in the wall, closing in around her. Folks, that's a frightening place for anybody to be. The clock is ticking faster than ever. If Drew regains enough strength to speak publicly about what happened, Willow's entire world could collapse in a matter of hours. It wouldn't stop with the end of her political career. Being a congresswoman has become part of her identity, and losing that position would only be the beginning. The real nightmare would come afterward. Every investigator, every reporter, every courtroom, and every family member would start asking questions she can no longer answer with another excuse. Then there are the children. I think that's the part Willow fears more than anything else. A public scandal involving attempted murder and months of deception could easily put her custody rights at risk. Whether she's guilty in the eyes of the law or not, public opinion would turn against her almost overnight. Once people stop believing you're a good mother, it's incredibly hard to earn that trust back. I honestly believe Willow knows that better than anyone, and that fear may be pushing her into an even darker state of mind. And then my thoughts always drift to Harrison Chase. That relationship may belong to the past, but respect doesn't simply disappear because love does. Chase believed in Willow when many people didn't. He stood beside her through difficult times and saw goodness in her that others sometimes overlooked. Just imagine what it would do to him if he discovered that the woman he once wanted to build a future with had become capable of manipulating, shooting, and possibly trying to silence another human being again. Lord have mercy, that realization would crush him. Sometimes emotional wounds leave deeper scars than physical ones ever could. Here's the uncomfortable truth that I don't think anyone should ignore. We've already crossed the point where we can say Willow would never do that. That argument doesn't hold any weight anymore. She already put 2 bullets into Drew's back. Those weren't empty threats or emotional outbursts. Those were actions. Once someone has already crossed a line that big, it becomes much easier to imagine them crossing another one when the pressure becomes unbearable. That's exactly why Sidwell's recent suggestion keeps replaying in my head. When he floated the idea of eliminating Drew because the medication was running out, Willow looked horrified, and I truly believe she was. Her face showed fear, disbelief, and maybe even guilt. But here's the thing about fear, it changes people. Someone who rejects an idea today may convince themselves tomorrow that they have no other choice if every escape route suddenly disappears. As the old saying goes, desperate times call for desperate measures. I don't think General Hospital included that conversation by accident. It felt like the writers were planting a seed, asking viewers whether Willow might eventually convince herself that keeping Drew alive but unable to speak is somehow the lesser evil. The more I think about it, the more that possibility worries me. People sometimes forget that Willow spent years working as a nurse. She isn't just another person standing beside a hospital bed. She understands medications, dosages, sedatives, and the effects different drugs can have on the human body. That knowledge could become incredibly dangerous if it's driven by fear instead of compassion. She may not need to kill Drew at all. If she can find a way to slow his recovery, keep him unconscious, or create another medical setback, she might believe she's buying herself precious time. And that's what makes this storyline so chilling for me. Willow could actually convince herself she's doing the merciful thing. She might tell herself that Drew is safer asleep than awake, that she's protecting her children, protecting her future, or preventing everyone around her from suffering. Human beings have an amazing ability to justify terrible choices when they're terrified of losing everything. I've seen that lesson play out on this show more times than I can count. What really sends a chill down my spine is the latest preview showing Drew clenching his fist and beginning to move his leg again. Those aren't random little moments. Those are signs that his body is waking up, that the paralysis is losing its grip, and that the truth is getting closer to walking right out of that hospital room. Every tiny improvement Drew makes is another reminder that Willow's time is slipping away. If you ask me, we're about to witness the most desperate version of Willow we've ever seen. Whether she reaches for another weapon, another syringe, or another carefully planned deception almost doesn't matter anymore. The frightening part is that she's running out of choices, and people with nothing left to lose often become the most unpredictable of all. That's why I believe the next move Willow makes won't simply change her future, it could permanently change the lives of everyone connected to Drew, whether they're ready for it or not.